Tent City. The Cougs take on the Zags tomorrow night. How many students braved the cold and are ready for the game? We'll have that number coming up.
Senior All-Star Big Russia posted another triple-double last night. Find out how Kyle Collinsworth wants to finish his BYU career.
And lights out, we're live at the Marriott Center to break down the intro that gets Cougar fans ready for the Zags.
I'm Blake Dorton.
And I'm Clara Goodwin. The Cougars will try to walk the dogs tomorrow on senior night. It's time for the Tube. So Blake, I'm wearing my waterproof mascara today because tomorrow is my big breakup with BYU basketball.
Well, do you want me to bring you like chocolates next week?
That could be helpful.
Will that help? Cool. Well, I'm sure it'll be awesome, but last night's game was awesome as well. BYU sought revenge after a loss to the Pilots in January, and boy, did they get that sweet, sweet taste of comeback. The Cougars dominated from the beginning and never backed down. Right here, look at Jordan. No, that's not Michael Jordan, although it might as well be. It's Jordan Chapman. And no, this was not the same play. He hit 2 corner threes in a row, making it look easy right there. Here's another Cougar racking up numbers. Zach Celius, or should I say Zach Yes. This three gave the freshman guard 50 trays for the season.
But the real story came from the GOAT. That's Mr. Triple-Double doing it again, Kyle Collinsworth. That's his 5th trip-dub of the season, 11th of the career. That got the whole crowd on their feet. Big Russia also broke BYU's record in assists for a single season, racking up 224. Is there anything that guy cannot do? 6 Cougs ended the night in double digits, sailing away with a 99-81 victory. BYU will face off against the Zags for the last home game of the season tomorrow, fighting for the first place spot in the WCC. Saturday's game against San Diego proved to be less entertaining than Cosmo riding on a hoverboard. Check that out. Nick Emery was outscoring the Terrors by himself for most of the game. He spots up for 3 here, and the Cougars was the first of many field goals. Later, Emery gets the rebound, and everybody watches in awe as he knocks it down the wide open J. Emery 5, Toreros 0. It took 7 minutes for San Diego to finally get on the scoreboard with a layup here. Cue the golf clap. But Emery comes right back saying, "Look, Ma, one hand," to finish the score. Emery had 7 points in the first half. San Diego had 11. You heard me, 11. All right, now Cosmo's just showing off there.
Emery kept pouring it on in the second half. 3 from the corner, bang, bang, bang. Then he takes the defender one-on-one, and say it with me, people. What goes up must come down. Later on the drive, Emery pumps and swims underneath for the layup. The freshman phenom finished with 17 points. It wasn't even a contest. BYU rolls by 58, the largest victory in school history.
With their wins, the Cougars still have a chance to win a regular season title. St. Mary's is still in the driver's seat. A win at San Francisco tomorrow will lock up the conference title and the 1 seed in Vegas. The Cougars and Zags face off in the Marriott Center. Winner takes 2nd place unless the Gales lose. Go San Francisco.
All good things come to an end, and Kyle Collinsworth, aka the Triple-Double King, will play his last home game in front of the Rock tomorrow night. The 6'6" senior guard from Provo has 5 triple-doubles on the season and is the all-time triple-double leader in NCAA history with 11. Number 5 keeps his stat sheet full by being BYU's career leader in assists, rebounds, and is 2nd all-time in steals. Mr. Do-It-All is a top 10 finalist for the Bob Cousy Award given to the nation's best point guard. He never loses focus on what matters most.
Seniors is just stay in the present and take care of business, each task at hand, and just appreciate each task at hand. And
Kyle Collinsworth has one more chance at home to get another triple-double and to go out with a bang. Cougar Crazy started camping out after last night's game versus Portland, and the Rock is tweeting that their numbers are growing huge. This is live outside the Marriott Center, where the line starts at the northwest corner and wraps down around the bridge, around the Victory Bell, and way down towards the new Marriott Center annex. Rock members say there's at least 80 tents, and they expect even more.
And while fans camp outside the Marriott Center, which, by the way, is 36 degrees tonight, people, so that takes some real dedication, a team of electrical experts are getting ready on the inside to make sure those rockers are properly pumped for the game to come. CougTube reporter Alyssa Banks is live at the Marriott Center to shed some light on the topic of lighting.
Clara, the Marriott Center really brings the crowds. I learned that the power of a simple light bulb, well, a lot of light bulbs, can really flip the switch at BYU basketball games. Most of the lighting is permanent, but the crew does have to come a day before to set up that lighting that isn't. Reporting live at the Marriott Center, Alyssa Banks, CougTube.
So, Alyssa, how many hours in total does that add up to for each game?
Well, Clara, Ziegler told me that it can take 5 to 6 hours for the lighting, and so that means that tonight they'll be doing the lighting for tomorrow's game against the Zags.
Wow, it's a lot of work. Thanks, Alyssa.
Some student jobs can get monotonous and dull, like working a deep fryer, but others involve rebounding for BYU stars Kyle Collinsworth and Chase Fisher. You'll notice that there are 2 or 3 other guys on the court getting rebounds and defending the players during warm-ups. Those are the student team managers. They work with the coaches in scouting and game planning to help prepare for their upcoming games. But being on the sidelines isn't the biggest perk for Justin Snow. He likes getting to know the players.
They're real people. That's the neatest thing, is to see that, they've got lives as well, and feeling like you're actually a part of that. That's been the coolest thing.
Is there any student job better than getting dunked on by Corbin Kafusi? It's all in a day's work for the BYU basketball team managers.
BYU women's basketball keeps setting records with more records. This year's team now holds the longest winning streak in program history at 16 games after complete domination at Portland last night. This one was over quick thanks to 10 steals in the game, including back-to-back Kylie Maeda strips for layups on the other end.
The whole team ate their Pringles before the game, and Lexi Rydell said, "Once you pop, the steals don't stop," laying it in for 2. The Cougars also had their best shooting night of the year at a little better than 53%, and the deep threats were on point. 7 different Cougars hit 3-pointers, including Mackenzie Pulsifer from straight on, and Cassie Broadhead was nothing but nylon from the corner right here. The game was over by halftime as the Cougars led 51-20. That is the most points scored by BYU in a half this season. The women's team just keeps steamrolling WCC teams. They've won 16 straight and will be the 1 seed in Vegas. They'll face their toughest test of the season tomorrow when they travel to Spokane to face the 5th-place Zags in front of a sold-out kennel. The Cougars have not won at Gonzaga since joining the WCC. So that's going to be quite the game on Saturday.
But after last year when they won the WCC title, I have faith in them.
That is true. So we'll see what happens. When CougTube comes back, hometown barbecue. This local grub spot combines good eats and Cougar sports. And what's not to love about that? They've become BYU fans' go-to venue.
And Luge Coug, BYU's own Kate Hansen, starred in Sochi and is in school now. What are her plans for the future? We'll be right back.
I don't need Ashley to tell me it's warming up outside, and the most important thing about the sun coming back is football. BYU announced the first spring football game is going down on March 26 at 2 p.m. We'll keep you up to date on who might be starting under center and how the team is performing in their first season under new head coach Kalani Sitake.
There's no smoking allowed on BYU's campus, but one popular Utah County barbecue joint has found a way to make it happen. By smoking meat, that is. CougTube reporter Aaron O'Sullivan shows us how Bam Bams landed the coveted gig to feed hungry Cougars for BYU athletics. When BYU is on the road, Bam Bams holds watch parties where members of the Rock and the Cougar faithful can come eat and watch the game.
BYU baseball started their season last week on a tear and did something they've only accomplished 3 times in almost 30 years. The Cougars are 5-0, the first time they started 5-0 since 1998. And you have to go back another 10 years to 88 to find a start quite as good. The Cougars swept St. Louis last week in a 4-game series, averaging 12 runs a game, and they smashed Sanford 7-1 yesterday.
The Cougars are the defending softball WCC champs, and they've started the season in a flurry. League coaches tabbed BYU as favorites to win the West Coast Conference Softball Championship during the preseason, and the Cougs are living up to their honors. They've got a fire record of 8-4, owing lots of their success to McKenna Bull, who just earned WCC Pitcher of the Week.
BYU's gymnastics team welcomed the school from Logan to the Smith Fieldhouse last Friday. The Cougars had a solid outing all around with their best scores coming from the balance beam, but it wasn't enough to overcome an early Utah State lead. The Aggies stole the victory from the rivals by just over 0.3 of a point.
Well, I give this weather an 8 out of 10. It's just not quite a perfect 10 yet. But Ashley, tell me, are we getting any closer?
You know, I'd say we can stick it to the winter for now because the sun is bringing its A game. I'll have the full forecast when we come back.
BYU student Kate Hansen and her luge had an amazing run at the Olympics in Sochi. So, Michael, the people want to know, is she going to be back in Korea?
Well, she's still going to classes, so I caught up with her on campus and I asked her. She says she had a few things she wanted to do at the Olympics, but now she has some other dreams. Hansen says even though she will always love luge, she knows there are more important things in life and she wants to go after them.
Now that she's done with the Olympics, is she done with luge for good?
You know, after we did the interview, she texted me saying even though she probably won't go back to the Olympics, she'd like to jump back on the sled in a few years, just for fun.
Thanks, Michael.
You can see it, you can feel it, the sun is outside. Let's take a look outside of the Marriott Center where those crazy BYU fans are out camping, and the weather's not half bad, so it's probably pretty enjoyable for them. It is a warm 41 degrees outside, humidity is at 56, wind speed's calm. We'll take it. It's nice and warm and the temperature will continue to increase throughout the day. But let's take a look at the rest of the state. The sun is out to play, 45 in Logan, 55 in Provo, 54 here in Nephi, and almost 70 degrees here in St. George. As for our lows, temperatures will continue to be a little colder, but we're reaching above freezing levels, 34, 35, 36, and of course a high of 45 in St. George. But for our game day forecast, the BYU Cougars will tip off against the Zags tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It will be 45 degrees outside. Wind speeds will be nice and calm. No humidity, no rain. It'll be nice and warm and happy for those Cougars to beat our Zags. And as we look at our forecast for southern Utah, surprise, surprise, sun. Friday, we're seeing sun, 77, 78, 76 on Sunday, 74 on Monday, 77 on Tuesday. Wish I could say the same for northern Utah, where we have some of the sun, a little bit of rain on Monday, but we're still seeing a little bit of sun, high of 53 degrees. Not too shabby. Chance of rain on Monday, but it's not too bad.
That's okay. At least we're getting a little bit of warmth, right?
Yeah,
perfect for baseball season.
Not too bad for my Camp Cougar session tonight. So
I love it. When CougTube comes back, top plays and predictions. Casey makes an appearance, but will he be the top play? We'll be right back.
It's a basketball edition of Top Plays. Let's go to the tape. Coming in at number 5, we have Lexi Rydalch leading the fast break and finding Kylie Maeda not even out of the corner of her eye. It was a no-look pass from senior to senior for the easy 2 against the Pilots. More to come from this one in just a minute.
Fourth place comes from the Marriott Center, where Kyle Davis steals the ball from Toreros. He gets it up the court to Nick Emery, who hands off to Casey for the two-handed jam. Blake, teamwork works. Again, It's Davis. He's here starting the play. Emery keeps it going, and Collinsworth finishing it off. Nothing close about this one.
We're back in Portland for the 3rd spot. Kylie Maeda turns defense into offense, getting the steal and turning it into the score. But what makes this play so great is on the very next Pilot possession, she does the same thing again. She steals the rock and takes it to the rack for the easy bucket. Clara, looks like lightning does strike twice.
True that. At number 2, we have Collinsworth pulling down the rebound to give him a triple-double on one end. Bam, there he goes. The crowd goes wild. Then he hits Emery in the passing lane on the other side of the court for a big slam. A switcheroo from our 4th play, with Kyle finding Nick this time around. Man, these two are fun to watch.
And for the play of the week, we go back to the San Diego Slaughter, where King Kyle plays some schoolyard ball, finding Zach Celius on the between the legs pass for the tray ball. All hail Kyle, and with plays like this, he'll be getting them checks at the next level for sure. And Zach, what goes up must come down, as we know.
It's Friday, and it's the end of February. You know what that means. It's prediction time, and the NCAA tournament is almost here. We welcome in Ashley, Blake, and Alyssa live from the Marriott Center we all wish we could be there, but ladies, I think we can agree that this is the week that Blake comes back down. You know, what goes up must come down. So it's coming down to earth and starts a string of wrong predictions. This week we're predicting the big games for the men's and the women's teams. Both teams will play Gonzaga tomorrow. The men are at home and the women will hit the road. So I'll start. For the men, I love those guys, but I think Gonzaga is going to take it at home. And for the women, I'm thinking BYU's got this. What about you, Ashley?
I'm going to say BYU for the men's and Gonzaga for the women's.
And I agree with Ashley. I think BYU is going to take it at home, and Gonzaga is going to win at the Kennel.
Well, you're both wrong, but Alyssa, what do you think?
You guys, I'm going BYU all the way. I know BYU men's team hasn't swept Gonzaga, but they've already done the hard part. And the women's team, well, they're champions already, so.
Okay, well, with this men's game, I mean, I know you all have faith in those guys, but, you know, I got to keep my prediction score high. I'm sorry, but Gonzaga is just too good.
That is true, but did you watch last night's game, Clara?
Okay, but have you seen the games against Pacific? Have you seen past games? I'm sorry, I don't think we can do it.
That is true, but we had 36 made field goals last night. We had 30 assists on those field goals. We passed the ball so well. I think we're going to keep it up on Saturday.
You know, Blake, I'm sorry, but this is the week I'm finally going to catch up to you. But with the women, you know, I think that BYU is going to take it. Apparently, you know, Ashley and Blake, I don't know why. Ashley, what's up with that?
You know, they have yet to win at Gonzaga, so what's different now?
That is true, and it's sold out. The Kennel is sold out.
It's like you say, Blake, what goes up must come down. You did that with St. Mary's last week, and you were right, so I'm just following in your footsteps here. But Alyssa, you seem to agree with me. What do you think about the women?
Yeah, we got to give them a lot of credit. Lexi Eaton is looking really good this year. She leads the team really well, so I'm going with the win, you guys.
Also, women are ranked number 1 in the WCC, so not really sure how you can argue that. They're obviously on fire.
Have you seen Bulldog fans as well? Like, we got to give it to those fans.
That's true. The Gonzaga fans are
crazy.
true.
I don't think the women have ever faced a crowd quite like the Kennel.
But the Gonzaga fans who aren't going to the women's game, they're all going to come to Provo for the men's game, and they're going to cheer it on in the Marriott Center, which, you know, might scare our Cougs a little bit. So
that is true. But, you know, like I said last week, what goes up must come down. I think the women are going to lose this week. They've had such a great run, but it's got to come to an end.
Blake, I agree with you, but for the opposite. I think, you know, the men, I am sorry, but I just don't think they have it in them. So.
Okay, well, we will see. Well, let's take a look at this week in Cougar sports. Cougar fans can spend literally all weekend on campus. Men's volleyball takes on number 12 Cal State Northridge at 7 and 8 p.m. in the Fieldhouse. Women's gymnastics and men's basketball host their senior nights tomorrow at 1 and 6. And the women's team looks to finish the season strong at Gonzaga at 3 tomorrow. That's CougTube for Friday, February 26th.
If you want to see our reporter stories again or to share with your friends, you can check out our website at 11news.byu.edu/CougTube.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and go Cougars.